Hey everyone, this is Elias from RAV4+Match Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross XLE all-wheel drive. Now, you're wondering, why not just get a Corolla? Or why not just get a RAV4? Or why not just get the best of both of them and put it together? And that's what we get, the Corolla Cross. So let's go ahead and get started. We get started in the front, and something looks extremely familiar about this, and that is the color, which is where we're going to start. So we do have the Soul Red Crystal color, which is from Mazda. Yeah, so it looks like Toyota let Mazda borrow the engine for the hybrid version of the CX-50, and in return, looks like Mazda let Toyota have the red, which I've said before. This red, yeah, Ferrari, sorry, but this red beats your guys' red. It looks incredible. We have the depth of color. We have a wine red in the shadow areas. We have a super bright red when the sun is hitting it. We have the depth of the colors in this. It's just an incredible color, and it looks great on the Toyota as well. So let's get started on the front. We have this massive swooping headlight here, which I like the design. It looks great. It has a nice output as well. No issues with that. Then we get to the front grille. Now, because this is the gas only version, the grille is going to look like this, like a more traditional grille with the big openings, compared to the hybrid, which is going to have more of the body panel of the front kind of coming over in the same color as the vehicle and have just kind of little openings there. Honestly, I think I like this more. I like this design a lot more, but yeah, you do get the hybrid benefits, so we'll talk about that after. But it looks really good. I like the durable plastics because they do feel nice and sturdy as well. Yeah, we don't get a front-facing camera. We only get rear camera in this, which is okay. Again, we got to keep costs down with something like this, which is like an entry-level econo CUV. Yeah, but other than that, though, I like it. It kind of has Capybara feels. I know my son would like that reference, but it kind of has that front Capybara kind of look to it in the front, which is kind of cool. It's a quirky little design. So let's go ahead and see what we have under this hood. We get under the hood and we have the 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder engine, and it is cranking out 169 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the CVT, and this has the all-wheel drive system. Now, a couple of things with this. There's a lot of configurations with this. There's two engines, gas and hybrid, and we do get front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options on that. So let's talk about the hybrid system. We have a 2.0 liter. It is a hybrid system, 4-cylinder. That is cranking out a combined of 196 horsepower. So we do go from the 169 to the 196, which is fine. Even with this having 169, it was plenty. It was plenty to get this guy zipping around. You know, even with the all-wheel drive system, it was great at distributing it when we needed to, because, you know, on the takeoff, it's going to use, I can see it in the little meter, it's going to jump to the rear significantly, and then it kind of goes back towards the front, which is kind of the system you want. So that way you don't lose a lot of power in the drivetrain and it feels sluggish. Not in this case, so it's great. So if you do go with the hybrid, you are gonna get that bump in power, but more importantly, the MPGs. So I really wanna talk about that. So on the gas, we do get 29 city, 31 highway, and 30 combined. That is on the gas. Now on the hybrid, we get 46 city, 39 highway, and 42 combined. It is a big jump. It is a big jump just going from the city driving of 29 to 46. It's massive. It's a massive jump. Now, as far as price difference, comparable trim, you're looking at about $3,400 as a price difference. So if it's something where you're going to be driving this for thousands and thousands of miles every year, then definitely consider the hybrid. If this is going to be just your grocery getter like my mom does and literally racked up only like 20,000 miles on a car over like 5 years, then go with the gas. It's not going to make sense for you to be as that efficient when you're really not going to be seeing it at the pump. So yeah, that's a big difference. Now, as far as the power delivery, like I said, yes, we do get a CVT, and on the hybrid, we get an electronically controlled CVT, but it's great. It's fine. It's able to really deliver a smooth power to this. Like I said, it's not a lot, so don't expect, you know, tire burning power, but I like it. I like it a lot, and it's a little bit on the noisier side when you really hammer it, because that CVT is going to hold the RPMs, but when you're just daily cruising, you're not going to notice. And then the other thing is, obviously, we have the highway passing. Not an issue in this little guy. Like I said, the power delivery was great at really any RPM range, because that CVT makes the most out of this powertrain. It really does. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this nice 18-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the 225/55 Goodyear Assurance tire. Now, a couple of things with this. Yeah, we have a nice big wheel. Obviously, this being the high-end trim, the XLE, we are going to get these bigger wheels. The smaller trims are going to have smaller wheels. Either way, they look nice. I like the options that we get for the Corolla Cross, and we also have a nice tire setup as well. Really quiet, no issues with grip, because again, you don't have gobs of power with this, so don't worry about that. The brakes have been excellent. I love the brakes in this, because that pedal feels so good to get this little guy stopped, and the feedback we get is just exceptional, so love that. The suspension was really the big surprise with this, because a lot of the times in these more economic or, you know, entry level, so to speak, CUVs, the suspension is just not thought through, and it can be on the cheap side of just kind of either super harsh or super wobbly, you know, with the transfer of the weight. Not with this. It's really dialed in to give you a great quality ride in the worst of roads. So I was really surprised. My kiddo was really surprised, because we drove through some bumps that he usually kind of feels in other vehicles, and he was kind of bracing himself for some, and he's like, "Dad, what did you do with the suspension?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I usually feel that bump, and I didn't feel it in this." And that kind of surprised me. I was like, whoa, okay, this is better than I thought. Not just for myself as far as ride quality, but also for my passengers. So yeah, love the setup. So let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. We get to the side, and this thing looks really nice. That red, as you can see on the front, we kind of get that brighter shade of it because the sun is hitting it. And then we get to the really dark, like blood, almost ox blood red, like color on the back, because it's more in the shadows. So that transitioning we get is just incredible on how good that color is, Mazda. I think this is more of a Mazda compliment than a Toyota compliment. But anyways, we have really cool things. I love the design that we get with this. We have that front fender that has this kind of bulbous design to it. We have some lines to kind of design a shape around the Corolla Cross, which I really love. We do get the fender covers here, which are in that nice textured black, which that follows down to the bottom and then all the way to the back, and also follows to the rear wheel there. A little bit on the rear bumper there, which we'll take a look once we get back there. And then the wheels we can see are a good size to proportion of the vehicle itself, so love that. Now, we take a look at the mirrors, nice and black color there. Again, we don't have a camera system. We do only get that rear camera on here. And then we have the black framing on the bottom with the chrome trim at the top, which usually I'm more of a black trim kind of person, but I really like the chrome. And then this little detail back here where we get the Corolla Cross name. a small little thing, but it really just kind of sets it apart and gives it that nice extra kind of level of attention to detail, so to speak. Now, the other thing I really love is this. It's kind of like carved out on here, and then it kind of bulbs out on there. So love that design line. I mean, even the silhouette is really nice design line to this. So loving that. Now I have my key fob in my pocket. I'll go ahead and reach, and I can go ahead and unlock. Yeah, super easy entry. It's a nice low height, but tall enough for maybe bad roads, kind of things like that, to be able to get in with no issues. Nice big doors as well. I can go ahead and lock there. Now, I don't have a sensor back here, so you are going to have to kind of do one of these, and I didn't program it. So usually you're able to just simply program it and get the rear to open up. But when we go ahead and open this up, big door, easy to get into, no complaints with that. Love, again, this cutout is just so cool with that design there. But yeah, that's what we get in the side. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we get in the back. We take a look at the back and we can see it looks really good in this red, and the sun is hitting it directly, so we can see that richness, especially with these intricate lines that we get, but very simple lines with the Corolla Cross. And at the top, we have this nice little spoiler. And up here we have the washer where we can get the rear glass cleaned, which we also have the wiper on there to help out. Visibility wasn't a big issue with this rear glass, so no complaints about that, even though, yeah, it does kind of look on the smaller side. Then we get the taillights. The taillights have been really cool. We do kind of have these kind of like stacked elements inside there, and we do have the Corolla Cross name on the side there. It kind of has that RAV4 vibe to it with these taillights, which look good. And then we have the badging on there as well for the Corolla, and then the trim. And at the bottom, we have the harder plastic textured finish there, which I like. I like the way that this looks with the colored trim at the really bottom part there. The exhaust tip, we can barely see. I don't know if they have an option for like a fancy tip, so I'll take a look at it, and if they do, I'll go ahead and kind of put it on there, which it would kind of look nice. It would kind of look nice with a nice little polished exhaust tip there. Just has that little extra touch to it. But love this rear, love the way that it looks. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have in here. When we go to open the back, because we have the XLE, we are able to simply press and we get a power liftgate, which is nice, especially at this more entry level. Yes, I know this is the high-end trim, but nice to see that we have that. And when we go ahead and we take a look at what we have in here, it's really nice. So there is a lot to this. First, we get this cover, which is good. It gets out of the way. We're able to easily get it out. Kind of works like a shower curtain where you kind of pull it here and the whole pole comes out, so to speak. So we have that, and we do get a large amount of space back here. That is a big bag, and I'm easily able to put you know, I'd say 4 of those in here, which is really good. And we have this, which I really like, this net. So I don't have it hooked on here because I want to show you below, but I like the fact that we have this net to kind of hold things down. So I could have put my bag in underneath there so it doesn't kind of slide around or anything. But I like the fact that it has the zipper on here. So it's not just the top, but you can also kind of double it as a bag and put things on there as well. So yeah, really good design for something like this, Toyota. So good on you. And then, yeah, we have the rear, and we'll go ahead and just kind of open, and we have the spare tire. Yeah, so we have the spare tire there. We have a little bit of space there as well. And we have my favorite. So yeah, we have some spaces on the sides. And then my favorite, this subwoofer has been incredible. I love the sound that we get with this. It has just been an unbelievable sound system. So JBL, great job. I mean, it doesn't have to be said because you guys also always have an incredible system, which, yeah, teenage me would have loved to have this in my vehicle to really blast those tunes and really enjoy the ride. But yeah, that's what we get in the back. And yeah, we get a good amount of storage. We take a look at the front door, and it looks good. Very simple, very straight to the point, nothing super wow about it, but more importantly, nothing wrong with it. So let's take a look at the top. First, we get this kind of, so it does have some give to it, which is really nice. And it's still a textured material to it as well, which is nice. We have the door handles and the lock here. And yeah, this seems like it's out of like the 90s Camry, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let's just say there's some nostalgic elements with this little door lock. And then we come down here and we have the actual, you know, the electronic component of it, where we can go ahead and lock, and we have the power windows and the power mirrors there as well. And then we get to the handle, no complaints about it, really good to grab onto. And then we have the storage area here, where we have for one water bottle and maybe another one here, just kind of laying down. Not too much space on there, but yeah, that's kind of what we get there. And then the sound system, this JBL system. Wow, this thing has, like I said, has been incredible, especially with that subwoofer in the rear. The fact that we have all these awesome speakers in this has been unbelievable. So definitely splurge for the better sound system, because you won't regret it. But yeah, that's what we get with the door. We take a look at the seats, and these things are really nice. Very simple, again, very straight to the point, but they are incredible. We have a good amount of adjustability there, and the feel to them, the finishes are really nice to them. We do have that white stitching on there, which is a nice touch. We do have heating option in this. We don't have venting, but today that it decided to be 40 degrees, it was very welcoming to have that heated element on them. So really good finishes, like I said. No complaints. I could drive this thing for hundreds, if not thousands of miles on a road trip and be perfectly comfortable in them. We take a look at the steering wheel, and this is pretty nice. I like the feel to it. So we do have a nice finish to it, nice and soft all around. We don't get any white stitching, so it is still the same kind of darker color there. But the design is really good. On the left hand side, we have our controls for our gauge cluster, and at the bottom we do have our volume up, volume down. Then we get to the right and we have our cruise control settings there, which yeah, have been great as well. And then the next track, previous track, really no complaints. Oh yeah, the horn. The horn isn't the best. It's very, very tiny sounding. Yeah, so especially here in Texas with big trucks, and you know, you kind of not be seeing as much, you have to frequently use your horn. Yeah, it's not going to be a very bold horn, so maybe swap those out, Toyota. We get to the gauge cluster and all digital display. Yeah, at this kind of entry level CUV, I'm impressed. I like this. And I like this even more because it's Toyota system, which I love in gauge cluster design. So love it. So first, we do have kind of 3 presets that we can save. So I'll show you how we can go ahead and change one of those. So it's just a matter of pressing and holding the OK button on the left side of the wheel, and then we go ahead and we move there, and we can switch to audio, blank, fuel economy, eco indicator, navigation. So we do have a good amount of items there, and then we can kind of come over and we can see, we can even turn some on and off if it's something. Yeah, we have you can see all the things we have available to turn on and off. Again, if it's something you don't want to be flipping through as you're just kind of going through these and selecting your choices. But it's great. It has a ton of data, ton of information that we may want to see, especially on a long road trip. We want to see, again, your tire pressures on the one side, and then on the left side you may want to have like your MPGs, your trip information, that kind of stuff. And then in the middle we have a couple of options, not too many. So we have the settings there, we have any messages, if we have any warning signs, blank, and then just the drive support. Not many there. And then on the right hand side we have the same thing that we can choose for that. So yeah, and then obviously that's just setting 3. So we can then just go back to setting 1, program this however you want, and then program 2 however you want there. This is usually where I've been at, because I like to see the power distribution, which has been really good in this with the all-wheel drive system. Very rear bias on launch, and then it just goes front bias when you're just already cruising and on the highway as well, because again, you don't need all that power going to the rear. The front is just enough. But yeah, I'm super surprised. And those miles for the tank, we've been trying to get those down, and yeah, this thing is efficient. Yes, you do see the 22 there. That's because I was really pushing it in our driving segment, but that was at about 26 to 27 on there, which has been really good, really impressive. So yeah, that's what we get with the gauge cluster. We take a look at the gauge cluster, and yeah, that song's kind of fitting, going away to college, because I think this would be a great college vehicle. Man, if I had this as a college student, it would have been awesome. And part of it is because we have Apple CarPlay in this. We have wireless Apple CarPlay in this. Fairly good size screen. It's not too bad as far as the visibility. It still kind of stays low on there. It's a good size. I like the size, super easy to reach. I can literally reach the corner with no problem there. I love the fact that we have the Apple CarPlay in not the full screen. So I love that we have this, because it makes it easy. Thank you, Toyota, for making this smaller. And then we have the option to go into the Toyota menus here. Typically in another vehicle, you would have to be in this, then switch over to this, then look for this, because it's not always on the front screen. So then you would have to go there in order to then, yeah, go to this menu. With this little button, we always have access to that section. But loving this. No issues with it. Again, that JBL sound system, like my wife likes to call those speakers there, the avocado tweeters, because they kind of do look like avocados, have been exceptional. But that's what we get with the infotainment screen. We come down here to the climate system, and we'll go ahead and turn it on. Very simple, very straight to the point. No fancy things, and that's the way I like it. Yeah, like, we don't have to overcomplicate these things. So yeah, we have this. Oh, we kind of do. We have the Eco Heat Cool. That's kind of fancy, because it makes it just an efficient system, so that you, you know, make the most out of your MPGs. And yeah, but I mean, it's very straightforward. The only thing I wished is that the defined function of it were a little bit brighter with that. So we do get a little bit of an illumination when we turn the lights on, but yeah, we can see, I think that's where it should be, as opposed, and then when you turn on the lights, it's even brighter. So it is a little bit on the tough side to see, especially like there where it reflects. Other than that though, super easy, super simple, what you really want. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, the infotainment screen, the volume button. I wish this were not actual buttons. I wish we had a knob like we do in gosh, I think it's the 4Runner, and those kind of just round knob, because the volume, when you're playing music with all your friends, you're gonna want to crank that sound system up instead of having to go tick, 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 or hold it down and then it just shoots up way too fast. So yeah, small thing. Other small thing with making this a little bit brighter, but that's what we get. We come a little bit lower, and we do have the wireless charger here, which has been great, except that I can't do my chuck test. Reason why I can't do my chuck test is because when we were having 80-degree weather earlier this week, I went ahead and I chucked my phone in here, and this accidentally happened. Yeah, I accidentally put the heat seats on high, And I was wondering, I was like, why is my back so hot? And yeah, I had accidentally turned that on. So just be aware, you can't really do the chuck test with this. But once you place it in there, I mean, it wasn't even placed in there correctly, and it was already charging. So love the fact that we have that. And yes, we only get one charger. The other one is just for you to place, which is a shame. I wish we had two chargers there, but we do get the USB-C connection there. Again, we have the heated seats, the heated steering wheel, and then the auto start stop system there. Now the middle, this one is blank because this is the gas engine. But if we have the hybrid engine, then we would get the drive mode right in there for the eco kind of situation. So yeah, unfortunately we don't get any drive modes, which would have been nice, especially the fact that we have all-wheel drive, and snow variation would have been nice to make sure the system is a little bit more cautious with the traction control, or more aggressive with the traction control for that. So wish we had that. But then we get over to the shifter, which has been great. No issues about it. Really nice option there. And then we also have a manual mode. Even though, yes, this is a CVT, we do get simulated gears, which has been good. I mean, I used it when we were doing our more spirited drive, but 100% it's been on drive with no issues there. But feels great, looks good as well. Then we have the parking brake there, as well as the brake hold on there. Love the way that those things work. We come back a little bit and we have our cup holders, which have been good. I like these cup holders because they are fairly deep. And the only thing is that, yeah, they don't really have any grab for for smaller water bottles, but I love the fact that because they're deep, any fast acceleration or hard braking, they're going to stay in there because they are just so deep in there. And again, we have two. Then we get to the armrest, which I kind of wish it stuck out more, but then we wouldn't be able to have a good cup in here. But yeah, I wish we kind of had that, because my arm hasn't really been resting there because I've had to kind of been seating fairly close to the steering wheel. But yeah, that's kind of what we get here. It's not much. We do have a USB-C connection. We do have a 12-volt connection, and we don't have much space. You can see just by putting my cable in here, that pretty much takes up all the space that we get. But yeah, this has been good. My wife has been using it more because she's had her seat back, and she's been enjoying it more than I have. Other than that, yeah, I wish we could just kind of lift it and then just kind of move it forward, but that's what we get in the front. We get to the back door, and this thing is really nice. Again, very simple design, doesn't have to complicate things, but we have some really good things with this. So first, we do have a nice tinted rear glass, which is nice, especially with, you know, Texas sun to keep it cool. We do have a harder plastic as the finish up above here, and then we have our door handle with our lock, and we do get a cup holder. So yeah, they get a cup holder back here, which is really nice on the door. And then we have the door handle, nice soft material for the armrest right in there. And then, yeah, we have that nice JBL speaker that just really, really cranks. But yeah, that's what we get with the back door. We get to the back seat, and it's really nice back here. Very comfortable. We do have the same soft materials we get in the front. And yeah, no complaints about it. My kiddo loved it. His booster seat is easy to put in. One thing I wish we had, and yeah, these are the ISOFIX connectors. I wish this were just kind of, you know, on a door latch kind of situation, so that we don't lose those. But we get that. Very easy to, like I said, put them in there. I love the fact that we do get the rear vents on here. We get the two USB-C connections right down there. Lots of legroom space. He wasn't complaining about it. Again, he has his water bottle situation there. And then we have what he likes to call his hidden cup holders. So he does have hidden cup holders back here as well. So yeah, I mean, it's really, really good, simple layout, but super, super effective, which is what you want in a very simple vehicle like this. We take the Corolla Cross for a drive, and it's really nice. It's very simple. It's very 90s Toyota. Yeah, It really is. I almost want to say maybe late 80s Toyota, 90s Toyota in the feel of it. And I can say that because I owned an 87 Chevy Nova. Yeah, you're like, why are you saying Chevy and you're saying you know about Toyota? Well, because that was a joint project with Chevy, much like this outside red was. Well, it was kind of a give me from here, take it from Mazda, based on obviously the engine that the Mazda CX-50 got as the hybrid trim. So anyways, it's really nice to drive. It's very easy to drive. I think that's the biggest thing, and that's why I said it's kind of like the 90s 80s, 90s Toyotas, because they were so easy to drive. The power steering, it's not, it doesn't fight you. It's not super loose either. It's just Toyota right. If you've ever driven an 80s, 90s Toyota, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Right, Mason? Yeah, shout out to you, buddy. But that's what this is. And I have been enjoying this. It's brought back so many nostalgic memories of being able to drive a nice and simple driving Toyota. And yeah, we have some tech. We've had some much needed tech that we have to have nowadays, with the Apple CarPlay, with the nice screen, with the heated seats, everything, the works. And it's done right. It's done right. And I really enjoy this. Funny little story. We were going over a railroad track that's kind of a bump, and my son always freaks out because in other vehicles, like, we really catch some air, and it's not that I'm going fast, it's just a really rampant increase in that little hill where the railroad track is. Now with this though, and I was kind of going about the speed limit, and which at the speed limit in that little bump, you're gonna catch some air. Not with this. It was really planted, and my son goes, afterwards, he's like, well, Dad, I didn't feel what I normally felt. I'm like, yeah, the suspension is really nicely dialed in. The ride quality is good. The steering feel is there. The power is really there. I mean, you don't really need something for like a commuter, and the MPGs are really there. Yeah, I've been trying to get the MPGs down, and we haven't been successful in doing so because it's just that efficient. And this is just a gas powered variety. It's not even the hybrid. So, and it's the all-wheel drive, so it's possibly the least efficient. Let's hit some bumpy parts here on the, yeah, it's just really good at absorbing it. And obviously we have the bigger wheels as well, so typically we'd be feeling that more than in the lesser trims that have the smaller wheels and the bigger tires. But yeah, we technically have the least efficient vehicle for the Corolla Cross, because we have the all-wheel drive system and we have the gas-only version. So let's go ahead and we're gonna get to my fun part. Now, we don't have drive modes in this, only the hybrid has drive modes. So let's go ahead and just use our regular old right foot, and we get it going. And this thing is nice. The brakes are really good. I love the feedback that we get with this. The power, it's not a lot, but when you're wanting a commuter vehicle, you're wanting that college, vehicle for your kid, it's great. You still have some great passing power, or for yourself. Yeah, if you just need a little gas efficient vehicle to kind of get you around town, this thing does great at that. And again, it's very linear because we have the CVT, and yeah, we can get this guy rotating a bit, and that all-wheel drive system is going to be great at just getting the power down. What I like about it is it's a fairly active system. It's not as much of a reactive system, in the sense that we have yeah, hit traction control a little bit there, in the sense that when we go to take off, it's already programmed to use the rear a good amount for that and get this guy really up and going. Now, yes, it's a little bit noisy on the, if you're just flooring it and keeping it there, because it will hold the RPM. And it does do some shifting, but then after a while, it will just kind of hold a certain RPM, or your max RPM. I did see I was able to get it into manual mode because it was kind of hanging and staying at 5,500 RPMs or so. When I put it into manual mode, it did want to go further towards the red line of about 6,700 RPM. So let's go ahead and we will do the 3-point stop. So we have about halfway, and let's turn it. Again, very easy to just kind of get that guy spun. We go in reverse. We have a nice little camera system there, which is not bad. It's not the greatest, like I said, but it does the job, and it's significantly clearer than older systems that Toyota has had. Yeah, as you can see, we were able to easily make the 3-point stop with 3 points. Now we've gone ahead and we've set up our race box. It's our 0 to 30, 0 to 60 timer. It's also a drag timer, lap timer, all in one box. Great little device, great company to work with. I'll go ahead and put my link in the description for a possible little discount. So we're gonna do a couple of things. We are going to put it in manual mode for the CVT transmission. Yes, I know. And we're gonna put it in first gear. Yeah, I know. There's no actual gears, but it's like the setting of how much that variation expands and contracts. So we are technically in first gear here, and that's because if we put it in drive, it's going to want to go into second gear kind of setting for the takeoff. Now again, we don't have a sport mode, not in the standard gas. We do have it in the hybrid, which I don't know what drives modes those have, but tried searching. Okay, so we are in first. We are going to go ahead and load it up a little bit and go. Okay, so let's talk numbers. We're dealing with a 0 to 30 in 3.46 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 9.81 seconds. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected from this, and it's okay. It really is okay. Like I said, if this is your kid's first car, this is gonna be perfect. If this is just a vehicle that you're wanting to have as a grocery getter, you're wanting to go, zip around town, get something, in town, anything, downtown parking is easy because it's a small vehicle. You wanna, yeah, DoorDash. I mean, this thing is great because it's just so good at just being able to zip by. And if you want to take it out on a Sunday drive, you can. It's a pretty rewarding little vehicle. Again, yeah, you're probably not going to be using this as like, yeah, I'm gonna go, have a nice Sunday drive in my Toyota Corolla Cross. But maybe you are, because it's really good. It's really nice to drive. That's the thing with this. And again, like I said, the brakes are really good at getting this little guy stopped. You don't need much, honestly, because you don't have a lot of power, and you also, it's a momentum vehicle, very much like a Miata, but it's nice. So again, I'm gonna drive it like a civilized person. It's a nice vehicle. I have been impressed. I was wondering when Toyota announced the Corolla Cross, I was like, why? Why just get a Corolla or get a RAV4? But with the RAV4 becoming more of a premium, it's going up there in price. Granted, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck in the RAV4, but sometimes you just need an econo vehicle, an econo SUV, and for a student, for, downsizing, a family that's downsizing, someone that is wanting to have a smaller car payment, but still get a great vehicle, this is very hard to beat. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed my review of the Toyota Corolla Cross. And remember, find the right gear, even if it's CVT. See ya.